Hello everyone and welcome back to another new video of Basics of Electrical and Electronics Engineering, which is a subject for the first year KTU syllabus students. So in today's video we are going to cover what is the analysis of or how we can analyze a simple AC circuit which is a purely capacitive circuit. Okay. We'll be also covering what is the capacitive reactance, all those things, what is the concept of impedance, and these things we'll be covering. So let's directly move on to what is a purely capacitive circuit. We have already covered what is pure inductive circuit and what is purely resistive circuit in the previous videos. So the same method of analysis is used for analyzing a purely capacitive circuit. So let's write third one as purely capacitive circuit. Purely capacitive circuit. So let's draw the figure of a sinusoidal voltage which is applied across a pure capacitor of capacitance value C. Then the voltage across the capacitance is represented by small letter Vc, okay, and the current through the capacitance is represented as small letter Ic. We know that the input voltage being applied to the capacitor is small letter V is equal to Vm sine omega t. Now we are going to find the voltage equation and the current equation across the capacitor. So let's start first with the voltage Vc. Vc is equal to the voltage across the capacitor same as the input voltage, which is equal to Vm sine omega t. Here you can see V is equal to Vm sine omega t. And now what about the current Ic? What is the current Ic? So what is the current Ic? We have to find it. We know that for a capacitor, we can write the current as I is equal to dq by dt, where q is the charge. Okay, so change in charge or rate of flow of charge is represented as current. Now, this current itself, this charge itself can be again converted into q can be written as C into V, which means we can represent it as capacitance value into the voltage across the capacitance. We have studied the expression Q is equal to CV. From this only I have written Q is equal to C into the voltage across the capacitor. Now we can substitute the value here. C is a constant. I am taking it outside. So the remaining thing is d by dt of, what is Vc? Vc is the voltage across the capacitor, which is equal to Vm sine omega t. Okay. Now we can take the constants outside. So your equation becomes C into Vm d by dt of sine omega t. What is the differential value of sine omega t? We are differentiating it with respect to t, so you have to take care while doing the differentiation. So C into Vm into derivative of sine omega t with respect to t, then it is just like sine at, d by dt of sine at, which is equal to a into cos omega t, isn't it? Cos at. So similarly here we can write the differential of sine omega t is omega cos omega t. Omega cos omega t. Okay. Now here you can see C, Vm and omega. These three terms are constant and I am going to represent it as another constant, that is Im. So our equation for current becomes like this. I is equal to Im cos omega t. Okay. Now here you can see that cos omega t form is there for the current, but we cannot compare two waveforms, that is voltage waveform is in sinusoidal form and the current waveform is in cosine form. So we have to convert it into some sinusoidal form. So for that I am going to write as I is equal to Im. Instead of cos omega t we can write as sine of omega t plus pi by 2. So those who are having a doubt how did we write this one, you just try to expand sine a plus b just in that format. You will get the answer for this one as cos omega t. Okay, so now we obtain the equation for current. Now comparing these two, we can find out what is the phase difference, what is the power factor, all those things we can find out. Okay, so the base of these power factor, all those things is explained in the first video of purely resistive. So kindly go through that video before going through purely capacitive circuit. Okay, now let's continue. What is Im? We have taken C into Vm into omega as a constant, and this is termed as Im. So I can write as Im is equal to C into omega into Vm. Is it correct? Now, I would like to find out what is the impedance for the circuit. So in the previous classes, you might have noted, how did we find the impedance? What is there under voltage? Here you can see Im is represented as Vm divided by some quantity, and that quantity becomes the impedance, opposition for the current according to Ohm's law. The same thing is done in purely resistive circuit also. Here also you can see Im is represented as Vm by R, and this denominator is considered as the impedance for the current. So in the case of a purely capacitive circuit also, we need some element to be the denominator of Vm, so that we can say that that is the impedance for the circuit. Unfortunately, you can see here there is only numerator. So what we are going to do is we are going to change its form, just like A by B divided by C by D. I am going to write this expression as Vm by 1 divided by 1 by C omega. 1 by C omega. Is it correct? So when you are doing A by B divided by C by D, you can represent it as A into D divided by C into B. So your answer becomes same as this one. Okay. The purpose is just to denote some denominator, or we should have some denominator. So to say that this becomes the impedance for the current. So now you have identified what is the impedance for this circuit. So the impedance for this circuit is 1 by C omega. Now what is 1 by C omega is actually XC. What is XC? Have you studied what is XC? Yes. I hope you have covered this in your plus 2 classes. So XC means the capacitive reactance. Capacitive reactance. It is represented as XC. Okay, that is the impedance offered by a capacitor alone. And this itself can be also represented as 1 by 2 pi f into C, where 2 pi f is omega. So instead of omega, I can also write as 2 pi f. Okay. Instead of omega, we can also write as 2 pi f. So I hope you understood what is the impedance value. So next we are going to study what is the phase difference between the voltage and the current. So here you can see voltage is again taken as the reference. Okay, why? Because it is starting from the 0 point. And current you can identify whether it is leading or lagging, that you can identify. So let's start with what is the phase difference between them. Here you can see the phase difference between the voltage and current is equal to plus pi by 2, or we can also say that it is leading. Plus pi by 2, which means it is leading, which means current leads the voltage by pi by 2. By pi by 2. So next we are going to write what is the power factor. What is the equation for power factor? We have studied the equation for power factor, that is cosine of the phase difference between voltage and current. So what is the phase difference between voltage and current here? That is plus pi by 2. So cos of pi by 2, which is equal to 0. Or we can say the power factor for a purely capacitive circuit is equal to 0. So next we can draw the phasor diagram. So I am just going to part this again. Okay. And next we are going to draw the phasor diagram. Okay. So before drawing the phasor diagram, we should first draw the waveform, sinusoidal waveform. You can see here the sinusoidal voltage waveform is represented in this format, that is V is equal to Vm sin omega t. Why? Because it is starting from the 0 point itself according to the equation. So V is equal to Vm sin omega t, and the phasor representation will be on the 0 axis. Okay, so here you can see the voltage phasor is represented on the 0 axis. Next we have to draw the current waveform. So I'm going to take another color here, so that we can easily mark the current and you can identify which one is the current. Okay. So as we have already mentioned the equation for current, how should we draw this? You can identify that this is a leading waveform, by pi by 2 degrees, which means your 0 point should be pi by 2 degrees before 0. So this much portion is pi by 2. This much portion is pi by 2. This is 0 degree. This is pi by 2. This is pi. This is 3 pi by 2. And here 2 pi. Now let's draw the curve. So here you can see it is exactly passing through the maximum and minimum points like this. Okay. So this becomes your current waveform. I is equal to Im sine omega t plus pi by 2. Plus pi by 2. Now let's represent the same thing on the phasor diagram. You can see that the phasor you can see that this has reached its maximum point, which means it will be on the j omega axis. So here you can see this will be the format of the leading waveform. How much it is leading? It is leading by angle pi by 2. Okay, so current waveform you can see here it is leading by pi by 2. Okay. So next we are going to find out what is the phasor. So we have finished the phasor diagram. So next we are going to find out what is the instantaneous power. What is the instantaneous power for the purely capacitive circuit? Just as we did in the previous case, instantaneous power. Instantaneous power is equal to, it is represented as small letter p, which is equal to small letter v into small letter I, where v is the voltage across the capacitor and I is the current through the capacitor. Okay, what is the equation for the current through the capacitor and voltage through the capacitor? We can multiply both, which means Vm sine omega t into, what is the equation for the current? That is Im sine omega t plus pi by 2. Okay, now constants are made together, so the remaining equation becomes like this. Now here sine omega t plus pi by 2 can be also written as cos omega t. Why? Because here we converted cos omega t back to sine omega t. The same thing reverse we are doing. So you can represent, instead of sine omega t plus pi by 2, you can represent as cos omega t. And now your equation becomes like this: Vm Im sine omega t cos omega t. Now let's go through how we can find the average power. So for this I'm going to write as average power, or another name for this one is active power. Active power. So let's find out what is the average power or active power. Average power, first we have to plot the power diagram, then only we can identify from where to where the cycle comes, like that. So for that, first I'm drawing the voltage curve itself. We have to multiply the voltage curve and the current curve. So first I'm going to mark the voltage curve. Here you can see this is the voltage curve, and this degree is pi and this much is 2 pi. Next I'm going to mark the current, and at last we will mark the power. So I'll show you how we can mark the current waveform just as we did in the previous this phasor diagram. You can see the peak point will be reaching at this point, then here pi by 2 going like this. Okay, the magnitude should be a little bit less than the voltage, so I'll show like this. Okay, now this point is pi by 2, this point is 3 pi by 2. Now as we have done for the resistive and the inductive circuits, I hope you remember the method. What we have to do is we have to first darken every intersecting points on the x-axis. So here you can see every intersecting points on the x-axis are darkened, and now we are going to plot the power curve. So here you can see this is the voltage and current curve. Now I am just drawing some intervals in between, and we are going to plot the power curve for these intervals. Sorry, the last one. is like this. Okay, now we are going to find out what will be the power curve for the interval 0 to pi by 2. You can see that the voltage curve is taking its positive values here and the current is taking the positive values here. Multiplying both, you will get a positive curve. Or I'll just show you a brief idea about, I'll give you a brief idea about the curve will be having this shape. Okay. Now, what about the next interval? I hope you understood. Positive curve and positive curve multiplied. Positive power is equal to voltage into current. This voltage values are positive in this interval and the current values are also positive in this interval, which means that the answer for the power curve will be also a positive curve. Okay. Why the shape is like this? You may try to just multiply with some values and try. You'll get a curve like this. And next interval we are going through pi by 2 to pi. You can see in this interval, voltage is having a positive value, whereas the current is actually having some negative values in this interval. So, positive value into negative value will give you a negative answer. So, the power curve will be a negative one. So, here you can see this will be the shape of the curve which is obtained for the power during this interval. Now, let's move on to the next interval and see that here voltage and current both are taking its negative values. So minus into minus, power value is voltage into current. So voltage into current will be equal to power curve, which is equal to positive value. So here you can see positive values are taken for the power. I hope it is clear for everyone how we have plotted the power curve. Now we are going to find out what is the average power, and for this what we are going to do is I'm just going to redraw the figure of the power curve so that we can easily find out what is the average power. So your curve is looking like first a positive cycle. Yeah. So first a positive cycle, then going to a negative cycle and going like this. Till here it is pi by 2. This is a power curve, not sinusoidal. It is not sinusoidal, even though you see the shape like this, it is not sinusoidal. And this is the positive area and this much is the negative area. This equation will be having the power curve equation. What is the instantaneous power equation? That is Vm Im sine omega t cos omega t. Just now we found out what is the equation for the instantaneous power. So this is the power curve. Now we are going to find the average power. So what will be the average power? We know that average power is equal to 0 here just by looking at the curve. Why? Because it is a symmetrical waveform. Why? Because it is symmetrical. But we have to prove this according to equations. We have to prove that this average power is equal to 0. And this question comes for the university portion exam. Prove that the average power of a purely capacitive circuit is equal to 0. So how can we do this? Let's find what is the average power for one complete cycle. So average power is equal to area under curve for one cycle divided by time period for one cycle. So what is the area under one cycle? We can find using the integration method. From word to word we have to find from 0 till pi. Why? Because this becomes one complete cycle. Divided by pi, from word to word we have to integrate 0 to pi, p d omega t. Now let's substitute the values here. So 0 to pi, p can be represented as Vm Im sine omega t cos omega t. And this itself, I'm going to change this one. We have already done it in the previous inductive circuit equation. The same method I'm going to follow here. Just like we converted sine A cos A into sine 2A. We have studied what is sine 2A. Take the instantaneous power portion. Sine 2A is equal to 2 sine A cos A. So how can we represent sine A cos A as? Then sine A cos A can be represented as sine 2A whole divided by 2. Or here we can also represent the instantaneous power as Vm Im sine 2 omega t whole divided by 2. Okay, so this may be the expression for P. We can use the same expression here. So your equation becomes instantaneous power equation. We have simplified sine 2 omega t whole divided by 2. And this expression is being used here for the instantaneous power so that we can easily make the integration possible. So sine 2 omega t by 2, which is equal to whole divided by pi. I have forgot. Yeah. So this one, so here you will be getting the constants can be taken outside. Vm, Im by pi and 2 is also taken outside. And the remaining thing is integral. What is remaining here? D omega t. Yeah. Integral 0 to pi sine 2 omega t d omega t. Okay. What is the integral for sine 2 omega t dt? D omega t. What will be the integral value? You can see that. You can take again the constants outside. That is Vm, Im divided by 2 pi. Integrating sine 2 omega t you will get as minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. Why? Because 2 is constant here. We are integrating with respect to omega t alone. So from 0 till pi. Now let's substitute this intervals here. So Vm, Im divided by 4 pi, 2 has been taken outside. Now we are going to give the limits. So minus cos pi minus cos 2 pi minus cos 0, that is the lower interval. Now substituting this you will get as Vm Im by 4 pi into what is cos 2 pi, that is 1. Okay, so minus of cos 2 pi is 1, that is substituted here. Now minus of minus becomes plus, and then cos 0 we know that its value is 1, or we will be getting the answer as 0. So for a purely capacitive circuit, we have proved that the average power or the active power for this circuit is equal to 0. Next we are going to study the 3 types of powers. Which are the 3 types of first one powers? Which are the first one is the apparent power. Apparent power is equal to, equation for apparent power is Vrms into Irms. Nothing we have to substitute here. So your answer is Vrms, Irms. Next one is active power. Active power is equal to Vrms, Irms, cos phi, which is equal to, what is the value for phi here? It is plus pi by 2. Substituting that, you will be getting as cos of pi by 2, which is equal to 0, or your active power value is 0. This is same as what we found out here. Then the last one is reactive power. So reactive power is equal to Vrms, Irms, sin phi, where this sin phi value here is 1. Why? Because sine of pi by 2, sine of plus pi by 2, which is equal to 1. So substituting these two, we will be getting the answer as Vrms into Irms. So this is how we can analyze a purely capacitive circuit. So thank you everyone for listening. Stay tuned.